Hey guys, welcome back to Let's Be Honest podcast. Today I'm joined by Kyle and Bridget from the Queer Ultimatum. On the show, we got to watch their journey through the challenges of an ultimatum, trial marriages, and ultimately choosing each other. Since then, they've built a life together and have become a visible example of queer, gender fluid love in the media. I'm so excited to dive into y'all's story, y'all's relationship, and everything that you guys have learned along the way. So, Bridget and Kyle, welcome to the podcast.
Hi,
Thank you for having us.
Of
Great
course. Again, thank you guys so much for being here, waking up. I know it's like early over there where you are, so I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm just gonna kind of ask you guys some questions and then we're gonna jump into the good stuff. So, how are you guys doing? What's new in y'all's life since the reunion? And since the air showed, or since the show aired?
That's okay. We're doing well.
Doing well. Yeah, since reunion
Reunion was in June.
when we filmed it.
Yeah, so this summer we've just kind of been. Kyle's been hard at work on her shirt
Making
company.
shirts. Been traveling quite a bit.
Yeah, figuring out social media, traveling, all of that.
Yes, yeah. I feel like a lot of people from the show are traveling a ton because they're getting a bunch of like, what are they called? Like, not brand deals. I mean, I'm sure, yes, appearances.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of people are asking them to come to places and I'm like, that's really cool. I had on Brittany, AJ, and then Marita like a little bit ago, and they were telling me how they're just so busy all the time. And I'm like, it's crazy how the show aired and then people's lives just like changed. You know what I mean? Like once it became like on Netflix, it's like now it's everything is just changed. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
crazy. Are you guys enjoying the appearances, like the new?
We haven't really done any.
Yeah, we haven't. We're going to Dinah Shore soon, but we haven't done a lot of
Yeah.
appearances, really.
I get it. I get it. Is there a
So,
reason?
for us? It's
I
like,
mean, we would, but also, I mean, it's not my ideal way to spend a weekend, but who am I to be turning down jobs right now? So
Totally.
I definitely would, but
I get
no
it.
one's asked us really.
Really? What? That's crazy.
that's not entirely true.
I mean, okay, yeah, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but yeah, I feel like they're always really far away.
Yeah.
And yeah, sometimes it's like they just want one of you because that's their budget, and it feels a little weird to like fly somewhere, be at a club for a weekend.
Yeah, that would be a weird thing. You guys, one of y'all go and then the other person doesn't. That would be weird.
Yeah.
That's really interesting. I wonder if like I'm sure they're focusing on people that are more extroverted. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
in the nightlife scene. That's
Right.
probably why. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think also like with us living in LA, it's like there's so many things that are here.
Yes.
I don't know if it's like the expectation. Yeah, I don't know.
No,
But
I get it. I get it. Yeah.
yeah, we're excited for
I was about to say, how do you say it? Dinah Shore?
Dinah.
I think.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
You were like, I don't really know.
I've never been.
I know, neither have I, and I hear it's like really freaking cool. So what is the dynamic of that? Is it just like is it strictly lesbians, or is it just like the sapphic like queer community in general?
I don't know. I think it's just sapphic, queer,
my
but it's been
understanding.
around for a long time, so it probably started as a lesbian.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I hear
but
it's
this
like
is the last. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
no, it's okay. I was just about to say I hear it's like the like original like OG like queer party or whatever it's
Yeah,
called.
they go on the L word in one of those episodes.
What? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I was trying to remember. Maybe we should rewatch that before we.
To see what the dynamic is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That looks crazy.
That's really cool that you guys are going. That'll be a lot of fun. Okay, so for people who haven't met you guys, how did you guys meet? When did things kind of shift from being friends to partners into something deeper? Just kind of tell us y'all's background with each other.
We met on Hinge.
Good.
And we were both new to LA. I was very new. I was like a week in. And so we were never friends. We were always friends.
No,
but we were
we didn't
never
start as
like
just
platonic. But we were also like fairly casual. Like we would be going out and like exploring the city together. So we weren't like hibernating in like a little nest.
Yeah,
we were
but your
like
idea of
very
casual. This is
Okay,
not
well,
most people's idea.
yeah, we were like hanging
We're
out a lot.
hanging out like 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah,
Okay.
but we didn't like we didn't have like the talk until like 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, it was 4 months in, and we were at like a holiday party, and someone was like, "Oh, is this your girlfriend?" And I was like, "This is Kyle." And then it kind of started that right after that interaction, chatted about it.
So y'all are going to holiday parties together, but y'all weren't putting a label on anything.
Yeah, it wasn't like a business. It was like a friend's backyard holiday, whatever.
Right.
But we
Yeah.
were going to most things together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So y'all started off just casual, and then 4 months in, y'all had the talk where y'all were like, let's figure this out. So how did that conversation happen? Like, who initiated
Right.
it? Like, yeah.
Well, we had both been in like longer relationships, and we were new-ishly single. Like, I was like 3 or 4 months single. Kyle was like, and it was a bit of a murkier. Yeah.
I know how that goes.
So we both were like, okay, we're in a new city. We want to like be able to explore and be single and whatever. So I think we both were just like trying really hard not to be too serious, but at the same time we were only seeing each other, and like definitely it was more serious than either one of us really admitted.
Yeah.
So when we had the conversation, it ended up being like we said we loved each other, and then we were like, all right, I guess.
Yeah, it all happened at once.
Yeah.
That's so funny, but that's 4 months in. So honestly, I feel like that's okay. Like saying I love you 4
Yeah.
months in. Like I feel like
It's
especially
like normal timing. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like honestly that's kind of like long in the queer community to say I love you. Usually it's like 2 days in.
Mhm.
Exactly.
I love that. That's cute. That's cute. Okay, so going into the show, what were y'all's expectations versus what actually happened? So like what were y'all's expectations with each other? Like what did y'all talk about before you went on the show, and then what actually happened?
I feel like going into it, we didn't have like a formal conversation. I think because both of us, you don't really feel like it's actually going to happen until like very close. Yeah. So we're like this. So we didn't really plan because I felt like both of us were like, who knows if this is going to happen. But I think expectations, we went in obviously in love with each other, wanting to leave with each other. Like either one of us went in to like have a fun time, like find someone to hook up with. And I think both of us kind of thought, well, if you find someone and you like completely change and want to be with them, like I think that probably says something about our relationship that we didn't see before. So we were like, it'll be revealing in some ways, but I think both of us knew how much we loved each other and like our connection, and we felt like that was strong.
Yeah.
I think sorry.
No, you go.
I think the part that like maybe is confusing to the public and like that you don't expect going in there is like, I think most couples think this is something that's hopefully going to bring us closer to getting engaged and make us stronger as a couple. I don't think anyone thinks like, oh, we might break up in this. I think nobody's prepared for like the way that being in a bubble with another person in a manufactured environment is actually gonna feel and play out.
Yeah.
It's not the same as like if you were in the real world and given a whole dating pool of people, but still allowed to like have your space and live your normal. It's a totally different experience, and not something that can really be compared to anything else.
Yeah, and I feel like it's not like the real world, like where I feel like it's very secluded, honestly. Like I wasn't on the show, so I don't know, but I feel like it was very like you're just taking away from everything, you know? And do you guys have your phones? Are y'all able to like be on y'all's phones at all?
Other than dating week and then like a few days before a proposal, other than that, yeah, you have your phones.
Okay.
Other like nights out, they take your phones, but other than that,
The film ones.
film one.
Yeah, because I feel like you guys are taken away from like y'all's real life, y'all's family, obviously, from each other, from friends, and you're put with a new person. And I feel like that's insane. And Bridget, it's kind of like what you said, like people don't really think about like they think more about, are we going to, I don't know, how do I word this? When I'm watching it, I'm immediately thinking like, so many relationships are going to break up because of this. Because I'm thinking like, how in the world, I'm putting myself in their shoes. I'm like, how in the world do these people go on these shows and they're emotionally connecting with one another and they're,
Yeah.
sleeping like next to each
Yeah.
other. I don't know about like actual, who knows, but like sleeping in beds next to each other. Like it is a deep connection that you're building with someone. And like maybe it's like my anxious attachment style. I don't know, but I'm like, oh my God, that's scary because you're secluded. You're away from like people, your partner, and then all of your attention is on this random person that I
Right.
don't know. It's just,
No, it sounds like you and probably other audience members are actually a lot smarter than I was. I was just kind of like,
It is
well,
insane.
like, my partner's never given me reason to believe that like they want to connect with someone else. So like,
yeah.
why would they connect with someone in a dating pool of like 10 other people that are coming from all around the world and may or may not have anything in common with anybody else?
Yeah.
So it's like you don't really expect that to happen, but then once you're there, you see why it does. For me, I guess other people can understand
Yes.
it.
Yeah, I feel like because like that's honestly like the whole point as to why people go on the show is to what is it called? Like see if their relationship is strong enough. I mean, that's pretty much what it is, right?
Yeah.
Or I mean, I know everyone goes into it differently, but it's kind of like I think Kyle, I think you said this. You were like if one of us ends up building a connection with somebody else and we really like this person and like we start questioning our relationship, then that kind of shows
Right.
Yeah.
where our relationship is. And that's true. Like it is true. It's like if we're in love with each other, but if we go on this show and there's one person that makes me change my mind, then we probably shouldn't be together because there shouldn't be somebody. No, am I making
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
No, that makes
that's
sense.
exactly right.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay, Kyle, so you were the one who gave the ultimatum, correct, right? Okay, just making sure. I was like, oh God. What made you feel like that was the step that you needed to take?
I think that there were like series of things. I think that the moment that I applied, I was not taking it seriously, but it was a time in our relationship that felt like we were what, a year and a half?
2 years.
2 years in or something. Yeah, 2 years in. And not moving in together. I was instead moving into like a tiny studio, and Bridget was moving in with her friend because she was just like afraid to move in together, which I understand to take it slow. But I kind of felt like, where are we going? Like, is this going to progress? I think both of us were a little timid about taking those like life steps together because we didn't really know what that looks like in like a healthy way, and we loved each other and we're having such a great time together. I think we just didn't know how to like approach those bigger decisions. And I was like, well, I want that with Bridget. I know that. And I was at a point in my life where like I was done with grad school. I was like seeing the future. So I was like, I'll apply to this. And then it just kind of continued to move forward. And yeah,
You're like, that's why.
that's why.
So whenever you applied and they like emailed you back or called you back or however it works, were you like, shit, like were you happy you applied after you guys got the call back,
Well,
or were you like, oh shit, why did I do this?
I was never, well, it was weird because I applied. It probably was like, I applied and then I think it was 4 months later before. So I completely forgot. So much had happened. And then we just saw someone that we knew on Instagram who was casting and posted about it. And Bridget was like, OMG, Kyle applied like a long time ago. And
I
then,
was like, LOL.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then that just kind of is when we started going through the process.
Crazy. I mean, I know I said this earlier, but like the thought of going, I mean, I commend you guys for doing it, because the thought of going onto a show where you are dating other people.
Yeah.
I've said this, I think I said this on Brittany and AJ's episode, but I don't know how I would be able to control myself seeing my partner date other people. I feel like I would go crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I would hate that. And I feel like, and I talked to Brittany about it, and Brittany was like, yeah, when I saw AJ, doing her thing, it made me want to just leave. Like, it made me just want to be like, AJ, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, it made me just want to give up. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I would probably do too. So I commend people that stayed on the show, which I think everyone did, right?
Yeah.
Because I can't even imagine. But I feel like also people that apply to this show, like, they're doing it because they really feel the need to do it. You know what I mean? Like, they feel like their relationship needs to go to another step, and that's why they're applying. You know what I mean? So it's like, you guys are applying because y'all are needing to figure something out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, Bridget, you expressed that you were hesitant around marriage a while back. Can you share where that came from and how your perspective has shifted since the show?
Yeah, I guess I just it was never something that stood out as important to me or something I needed to do in life. And it felt so like traditional and almost religious and like why.
Mm-hmm.
And I think knowing the statistics and just like how people change and grow, I just like, for whatever reason, didn't see it for me. But I think even though you end up seeing us get to the point where we get engaged and where we both propose. Well, you don't see both of us propose, but I also propose. It was more of like meeting in the middle, in that like I shifted my perspective because I was like, this is something that Kyle cares about. And I actually really respect Kyle as a person and admire the way that she looks at the world and the way that she thinks about things. So like she must be looking at this differently than I see it. And so I think it was just like a realization of like, this doesn't have to be the definition of marriage that I have had in my head from growing up and from society. It can actually just be a commitment that we define. And yeah, so, and it's ultimately going to be not traditional anyway, because it's us and it's whatever we want it to be.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I literally talked to my partner about that as well. Like, we're engaged and we're planning our wedding like next year.
Well, congrats.
Thank you. My ring. Here's my ring.
Wow, it's beautiful.
That.
I always show it off because I'm just obsessed with it. But thank you. But anyway, sorry. We're planning our wedding, and I'm talking to people that are, I don't know, wedding people. What are they called? Like wedding coordinators or whatever.
Mhm.
And they're like, what is the groom's name? Groom is a man, right? It's supposed to be. And they're like, what type of white flowers are you wanting? And I'm like, I literally want to wear like a black dress. And I want my flowers to be like fucking rainbow. Like, it's like, I don't want anything traditional. And there's been people that like I've talked to that are the wedding coordinators or whatever. And I can tell that they're like kind of thrown off because I'm like, first of all, there's not a groom. It's going to be two women, and then they're like, oh, like, we're going to have to like, figure out how to do this. Like, this is different for us. And I'm like, oh God. But
you're like, I want a new wedding plan.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know about this. But I 100% understand what you're saying, Bridget. Like, do you think it stemmed from like, I know you said you have that view of like, you never really wanted to do like the traditional route, but like, and the statistics kind of made you feel like, I don't want to be a part of the statistics where, we get married and then it fails. So like, but where did it stem from? Was it like family, or was it just you just being
No,
aware
I mean,
of
my
like,
parents have been happily married for, I don't know, like 32 years almost, I think. Might have gotten that wrong, but no one will know. They have modeled like a great relationship, but I think to me, marriage and kids always seemed linked. And I don't want kids. Kyle doesn't want kids. So to me, I was kind of like, what's the point? And like, I feel like I can show how committed I am without having to like have it government recognized and, whatever. And like, nobody knows how we're going to grow in the future. But I think it shifted into like, well, it's a commitment to growing together and like continuing to commit to figuring each other out. Not in the way where it's like you're stuck with each other. There is always divorce, obviously, but like you hope that's not on the table when you get married.
yeah.
but just like a commitment to trying your best to understand each other and grow together and like continue to embrace each new version of
Yeah. No,
yourself and each other.
I get it. So, Bridget, when you say like the proposing and like being engaged was like the middle ground for you, is that like as far as you'll go? Like, are sorry if I'm like totally
No,
not
it's
like
okay.
understanding what you're saying, what
I
you're
just
saying.
meant, yeah, no, like marriage is still the end goal.
Okay. Gotcha.
I just meant we met in the middle as far as like, I think Kyle understood where I was coming from and I understood where Kyle was coming from, and we came together to this agreement of like what this means to us rather than
Yes.
like, because I think Kyle also had a bit more of like I want this commitment because I want to feel like I'm progressing in life and growing up and doing
Mhm.
the like next step thing, and that it doesn't necessarily symbolize that because it doesn't bring like
Right.
a more stable career or more like of whatever it means to be more grown up. Like, so I think we both, yeah. And I think part of that is like talking to other queer people about marriage and what they see. Because I don't know that
Totally.
straight people are really having, I mean, I'm sure some straight people are, but I think it's less of a conversation about why and what it means because it's more expected, I guess. And if you're queer, you've already kind of had to think about like what it means because it wasn't really an option when we were growing up. I mean, when was it legalized? I don't know, but I guess it sort of was.
It's just
Yeah.
Yeah, it was legalized. I don't know how we should probably know this, but unfortunately we don't. But it wasn't too long ago that it was
Yeah.
legalized. Yeah. No, but Bridget, I get it. I get it 100%. It's like the thought of marriage, it is like a weird concept. Like I've talked to my partner about this. Like I of course want to marry her, but like it is weird. It's like the government gets involved. It's like we combine our bank accounts and like I don't know, there's just like a bunch of things and it's like why do I have to show my love and like I don't know how to explain it, but like show that we're committed by being married. Like, why is this a thing? Like, why do we have to do this? Okay. Were there moments during filming that surprised you guys about y'all selves or each other, or like something that you didn't expect to feel?
I think for me, I was very surprised at how the process like affected me. I felt like I went in like fairly strong emotionally and like in touch with myself. Like I felt like I'd done a lot of growth. But then once you're in this environment that's very foreign, where you feel a lot of pressure, it like brings out, when I was talking to a therapist after, it's like those environments bring out like a younger version of yourself. So it kind of brought out in moments like the parts of myself that I really don't like or like I thought that I had like worked through. Like the people pleasing was just like off the charts. The like kind of selfishness because of the people pleasing and like not, I don't know. I just was feeding into what they were giving me so much. And it took me a while to kind of step back and be like, this is my real life. Like, this is my real relationship. Like, I need to like think about how I'm like handling things and how this could affect, my life moving forward. Like, I can't care so much about like how the producers are feeling and like wanting to follow the rules so much. I was like such a rule follower. And so like all their tactics worked on me for a while. And
Oh,
so that was surprising. I was like, I was behaving. I was like, who am I? Like, what's going on?
yeah.
So that was surprising for sure.
I feel like when you're in a situation that is so just not a lot of people in this world go through. Like you guys went through a very unique situation. I feel like the way that you go about things, the way that you treat people, not saying that like you were treating people badly, but like I'm trying to put myself in your shoes. Like if I was in your situation, both of y'all's, I feel like I wouldn't really know how to move how I usually do. Like I don't know how to explain it. Like I feel like the people pleasing, like it's a new human that you are literally
Right.
sleeping with, eating dinner with, and you don't really know how to like interact with them, like honestly. And so you want to make sure they're happy.
Yeah.
You know, it's a TV show. So you're like, oh shit, if the producers are telling me to do this or whatever, like I want to make sure I do. Like it's just a weird concept.
It
So
is.
I get it. Your brain's like, how the fuck do I navigate
Oh, yeah.
this? What about you, Bridget?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was surprised by how Kyle acted at first. I mean, it's hard. It's like manufactured betrayal and abandonment, right? And like you're not allowed to talk to your partner. And then I have a partner who's like very much so a rule follower. So it's like all of a sudden to not hear anything from someone that I've been talking to every day for the last almost 3 years, it was like a weird feeling because obviously you agree to commit to this process, but you can't really prepare for how that's going to feel. And also, like, with the way that I felt our foundation was going in, it was just like surprising and jarring. And after the first week of the trial marriage, I think like Kyle was kind of back to herself. But it was just like the first week was like very difficult for me. I think especially because like I had a harder time during dating week because it was setting up that like AJ and I were going to go together. AJ and I were going to go together. And then like our last date, I was just like, I can't do a trial marriage with this person. Like, especially after that mixer, but even before that mixer, I had made that decision. And then hearing Marita talk about like, I already have feelings for this person. We have this strong connection. And then hearing like that AJ had also connected with another person on top of that, I was just kind of like, yeah, I'm definitely not going to be able to do a trial marriage with this person. And it's nothing against AJ. It's literally like everyone has their own way of coping with what the situation was and how to date 10 people. It's not a natural thing. And it's not something any of us is really doing outside of there. And also most of us have not dated for years. So definitely not any hate to AJ about that. It was just like, for me, not something where I could see myself feeling super comfortable for 3 weeks. Whereas like Ashley, I never felt like she was like super duper coming on to me. So that's how I ended up choosing. And she was very authentic and we were able to just be really open and honest with each other. And we had interesting conversations during our dates. Like we talked about gender roles and I just felt like it was going to be a little deeper. But I think because my dating week was a little rockier and a little less like, I mean, it was kind of one track until the end, but then it kind of like all got turned on its head. So I think like that for me was really like stressful. I didn't want to confront AJ at the choice. That was really stressful for me. Like I think having gone through those big things without the support system that I'm used to having, that I think just made it even harder for me to then see my partner like really commit to not talking to me.
Yeah, especially when you guys go in with like a good foundation and the rules are set. It's like you can't talk to your partner whenever you're with, your new partner. So then whenever Kyle is like, got it, I'm not speaking to you. Bridget, I probably would have been like, oh shit. Like it probably would have made me think, okay, is Kyle creating a really good relationship with this new person? That's why, she's not like texting me, she's not reaching out to me. So whenever you guys like, because I was talking to God, I think it was either Marita, Brittany, AJ, one of them. They were saying that whenever they were in the gym, they saw their like original partner and their partner like did not speak to them at all. Did that ever happen to y'all where y'all were in a room and Kyle, I'm putting you on the spot.
Was, to be fair, Kyle did text me the first night that we got our phones back and was like, I know we're not supposed to be talking, but I just want to say, like, I'm really proud of you for saying what you said as a choice. And I know that must have been really hard. But then it was like very much like but anyway, like, I know we're not supposed to be talking. So like, I won't.
I thought everyone was also following the rules.
But meanwhile, like, I'm living better for the show. Living with someone that I can see is like texting their ex like all the time. But, trying to still be respectful to our trial marriage. But like, it's also like, what is a trial marriage? And like, this is someone you've known for this number of years. And Ashley was in a tough situation because Marita and Brittany they didn't know each other at all. And like, at least the rest of us had gone on, a couple of dates together. And I think she was trying to be a good partner and make sure that Marita was okay. And I was fully supportive of that because I can't imagine how difficult that might be to be with someone that you weren't dating at all during dating week. And I'm glad that they ended up having a very good trial marriage and learned from each other and became very close friends. That's great. But at the beginning, I think it was hard for both of them to just see their partners be with other people and they didn't know each other.
Yeah.
But like Kyle never ignored me when we didn't ignore each other when we saw each other in the halls.
Okay.
But it's stressful because like we would get texts if anyone saw us talking. Like one time we were both getting coffee at the same time on the 7th floor, and we had like the briefest conversation of like, hey, how are you? And that was it. And then we got a text minutes later that's like, please remember you shouldn't be interacting with your ex-partner.
Yeah,
It's like,
there's always eyes on you.
You're like, this is such a weird concept. If I see my partner, I'm going to say hi,
Yeah.
you know? So obviously on the show, like there were conversations where people were really upset whenever their, I guess, like their ex saw them and they didn't ever like speak to that person. Do you guys, were the producers like really on y'all's ass about that? Like, do you guys think it was okay that there were people that were like, I see my ex-partner, but I'm not going to speak to them? Do you think that was like normal? Like, did people do that on the show? Like, they just were like, okay, I'm not going to speak?
There really was a lot of pressure from production. Like,
and I feel like people, I think it got to people. So like, I can't fault them for that.
And I think like once one person even is a little less friendly than the other person, it's like an action and reaction, you know? So I'm sure things start with like outright ignoring, but it escalates.
Yeah.
And
escalates.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. I'm like thinking about how you guys saw each other at coffee and it was just like, hey, what's up? And then it was like, all right, bye.
Yeah,
that would make my heart so sad.
Yeah.
You
and
know?
It did, yeah.
I can't even imagine. That's crazy. Okay. So at Ultimatum Day, Bridget, you surprised everyone by proposing. Can you walk us through your thought process there?
Yeah, I wish they'd aired me proposing because it was kind of the whole point of the show. But no worries. No hard
like, it's okay, whatever.
Would love to see it one day if that footage exists somewhere. Yeah, it was. We had always agreed that like if we got to that place, we both wanted to propose because why wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Like we're both wanting to get engaged, so we should both be proposing. I don't know. That was just our thinking. And I think, you know, like outside of that experience, if we were to propose, it would be at separate times probably because surprise is always fun. But yeah, I think I just, like I said before, reached that point of clarity of like adjusting my perspective and also like hearing Kyle kind of like come to the realizations she did about marriage and about commitment and realizing that like it isn't about making us more grown up and like that we're going to define what this means for us. And then, yeah, I think it just became clear like I always knew I wanted it to be Kyle. It wasn't like a question about who the person is or like a doubt about the person in my mind or like could there be something better out there. It was just my thoughts on marriage in general. And it did really help to talk to Ashley because she was an ultimatum giver and just hearing her like ideas about marriage and being able to talk to her about marriage because it's not really something that I talk about with my friends often. I feel like most of them are on the same brainwave that I am. So yeah, I think I just got there and I was like ready to do that after all the trauma we went through the last 2 months.
And I feel like being, like you said, Bridget, like you have friends that kind of have the same view as you or had the same view as you with like proposing and marriage and all that stuff. So being with someone, like I feel like that's the whole point of the show was to help you be able to be like, all right, let me take a step back. Let me talk to other people about their perspectives on marriage, on proposing, that kind of stuff. And let me see if I can get on board with that, you know? And so I think like it sounds like Ashley really helped you, which is good.
Yeah.
Do you remember like anything she said that like stuck with you and you were like, that kind of
it wasn't even so much the talks about marriage, but the talks about like being a team with someone? Because I felt like Kyle and I are both pretty independent people. And I think having both been in maybe not so healthy relationships when we were younger, as a lot of people go through when you're learning things, figuring things out in your first serious relationship. I think we both were like wary of that and making sure that like we still had autonomy. We were still like in charge of our own decisions and, you know, not wanting to feel like, I don't know the right word, but like, whatever. We were just careful.
Yeah.
And I think there has to be a balance of like also still feeling like you're making decisions together and being a team and So talking to Ashley about that and like how she views a relationship and the things she does, and like it was just nice to see what that could be like and hear about how she likes her serious relationships to be. And she's very like, she is thoughtful. I know there was the whole flower thing, but like she is very thoughtful with like, she loves to like take her partner out and like cook together. And I don't know, it was just really nice, like even just grocery shopping together. And I know Kyle had that experience with Pilar too, where like they would make a list together, and it was just nice to get to see that kind of partnership. And I think, yeah, that like definitely helped, but I don't remember so much any specific conversation.
Yeah. No, yeah, I get it. And like, I totally understand what you say. Like, when you talk about like you and Kyle have y'all's own autonomy, y'all are very independent people. And whenever marriage and proposing, that kind of stuff gets brought into question, at the time, your brain immediately goes to like, well, that means like we're like one. So does that mean I'm going to lose my autonomy? Does that mean I'm going to lose like my own decision making? Like, I think that's very common. I feel like because proposing, engagement, marriage, that is a big thing. And like you guys do become a team. So I feel like, but that's also
Yeah.
the fun part about
Yeah, it's like our
being
favorite
with
thing now.
someone.
We love doing all that stuff together now.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of like the whole point, is to like find that good balance where like you guys both are still y'all's independent persons,
Yeah.
y'all are y'all's own person, and then y'all also can come together and be like, let's talk about this, or like let's come together, whatever. And I feel like that's honestly the struggle with commitment, is literally that. So I feel like your worries with that is like totally makes sense. Okay, so since the show, y'all are living together, what has surprised you guys with living together, if anything? And then has there been any challenges with living together?
I think I'm surprised by how much I like it. Like, I obviously know that I love Bridget, but living together was kind of scary because I'm so independent, and I'm like, how is it going to be sharing my space with someone like that intimately? So I'm surprised by how comfortable it is and how like just good and natural it feels. And it's hard because neither one of us are like type A or very clean. So that's a part that's like, we could use some more of that. We're clean,
messy.
we're messy.
We're not like dirty.
You're like,
Yeah, we're not gross, but it's just like
like we're not leaving like
organizing and like
yeah.
making sure things. Yeah, so that's the tough part, I would say. Yeah,
I get it. I get it. What about you, Bridget? How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I lived with a partner in the past, and I felt like we moved in together really quickly, which was why I wanted to wait until I was desperate for it this time. And I think we do have complementary like living styles, and that can be, I think it saves us a lot of arguments, but it also means that like we have to force ourselves to have cleaning time and like be more organized. And yeah, like you kind of go through purge stages where you're like, okay, I need to handle all of this, whereas like I kind of do a little at a time usually. Or I like, I don't know. We're working on that. And I think having people over is a helpful tactic where it's like, okay, we got to get the apartment together because somebody's coming over.
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
We
Me and my
also-
partner
yeah.
are.
We're both artists. We both have like a lot of shit around that is like, can I swear? Sorry.
Yes.
Oh,
No,
okay.
yeah, totally.
We
Yeah.
both have just like Kyle has her whole t-shirt shop in the bedroom.
yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff around.
Yeah, and I feel like you guys have to be okay with that. Like, I
Yeah.
feel like if one person has a bunch of shit everywhere and the other person is like someone that's like, oh my God, I can't take this, then it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And like that is what's scary about moving in with a partner, is like, you know them, but like you don't live with them. So then once you move in with them, you start noticing like little things.
Yeah.
And it is scary. Like whenever me and my partner like we moved in pretty quick. Like, I'll be honest. But you start noticing little things, about each other. And luckily it's all good. I'm kind of like you guys. I'm a clean person, but like I can leave dishes in the sink for a couple days and I'm not going to like freak out about it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? With her, she's like, I need to get this done immediately. And so of course there's like conversations we have where she's like, hey, like, can you please clean your dishes? And I'm like, yes, I'll do it to like, make her happy. But then there's times when I'm like, why is it a big deal?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't smell like the dish is cleaned. Like, it's not like I have like food,
Right.
you know what I mean? So just moving in with a partner, it's funny. But Kyle, what you said, I was the same way. Like, opening my like, well, not opening my house, just like having someone new in your space, and being kind of nervous to adjust, and being like, oh god, like my independence is kind of not being taken away, but it's different, like you have to think about your person, you know what I mean? Like, you can't think about yourself only, you have to also take into consideration your partner. It's like, you can't just, I'm trying to think of something, I'm like, I can't even think, but like,
You don't have a place to
I
go
don't
if you need to get away or like leave.
Yeah, you always kind of have to be like checking in with someone. That really.
always, yes. And
We both got in
yeah,
trouble with our trial partners for like leaving without saying what we were doing. Where
you're like, bye.
I was like, oh, why is she?
Then people were suspicious that we were like secretly meeting up.
Yeah. The producers like cornered us separately and were like, so where'd you go this morning? Were you meeting up with Kyle? And I was like, no, I went and got coffee and journaled by the pool.
Oh my god, wait, so they were really on y'all's ass?
They were on everyone's ass. Yeah.
Well,
And sending like
That's-
long texts to everyone, and they really make you feel like you're in trouble.
but everyone is in one apartment complex, right? So what do they expect? Like, I know if I was on the show, I would be calling my partner and being like, hey, let's meet.
Yeah.
Like, let's meet
Like,
somewhere.
if they cared that much, they should have separated us. I feel like
They
it's
should have
Part of
said
the drama. Yeah.
it is a part of, and I feel like they know that.
Yeah.
They know that.
But they kept being like, no other cast has ever been this bad. We've never had this issue. And I'm like, I don't believe this.
You're like, I don't believe it, but I also don't care.
I mean, yeah, they would say things like, if you can't go this long without talking to your partner, then you're codependent. And it's like, okay, well.
I'm like, that is so crazy. It's like, I want you to be in my shoes. Like, come on a reality TV show and don't talk to your partner for however long and date somebody else.
Yeah.
But also be in the same apartment complex as, it's just, so y'all are obviously like living together, but do you guys have any like small routines or like practices that help you guys like stay connected and like grounded with each other?
For sure. I feel like we've been good about that because that was such a thing for Bridget with moving in. She's like, I still want to feel connected to you. I don't want to just like settle into our lives and not make time for each other just because we're living together. So we always have, like on Sundays, we usually have like breakfast together and we like make it special. So we do that and we like connect and talk about our week. Then we also try and do like date nights once a week.
Yeah. When we cook together.
Yeah. And I make her coffee in the morning. Like, we have little things.
Yeah. It's honestly little things like that that really help. Because, like, I mean, I'll be honest, me and my partner, like, we moved in pretty quick. And sometimes there are those roommate feelings. It's like, I'm so in love with this person and I love them so much. But kind of feels like we're getting into like a roommate situation. So what can I do to try to not feel like you're a roommate? You know what I mean? And so like little things like that, making coffee or like, making sure y'all eat breakfast together on a certain day or whatever. That's good. I like that. So in moments of like tension and disagreement, because y'all are living together, so now you guys can't get away from each other unless, y'all have y'all's own like little space or go on a walk, whatever. But how do you guys navigate those disagreements? Especially with like public attention. Like y'all are like people.
Right.
People follow y'all.
Try not to fight in public.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Y'all are like screaming at each other in public.
No.
I don't know. I guess I think we've gotten good at, if we notice we're activated, trying to like first take a beat.
Yeah.
Take a breath. Not continue to talk about it if it's going to continue to be from a tense place. Like table it. I think I've personally realized that like when I feel less fulfilled in my like if I haven't done art in a while or if I'm not like going and doing something that I love, I can be a little like higher strung and like more quick to be activated. So just making note of that and making sure that I'm filling my own cup first.
Totally.
And like, sorry.
Oh, it's okay. No, I was about to say, I love that because I'm the same way.
Yeah.
If I'm stressed stressed about anything, or like, I have an episode that I have to record and I'm like, oh my God, I can't think of questions, or like just anything. Like me and my partner just had this conversation. We were in California, like we took a couple trips there for my podcast, and I'm like, I want to live here so bad. And when I want something, I have to do it. And so I have been so like eager to just move, and like I'm just like in my head, I'm just like stressed, and we've gotten into like a couple of arguments since we've been back, and it's literally just because I'm irritable. Like I'm just like in my head, and I'm like, it has nothing to do with
Yeah.
you. Like me being snappy, I'm sorry. Like I'm
Yeah.
able to acknowledge that, like, you know what I mean? So I get it. I get it. I get it. What about you?
I think I've been much better about just communicating like how I'm feeling, or if I notice that Bridget's acting a certain way, I just like call it out rather than create something in my mind, and that just leads to bad things. So I think just like talking about like I'm feeling this way right now, and then just like oversharing in a way. And I feel like that often brings the escalation, like it can mellow it out, which is good.
Totally.
And sometimes I do need space, like as a person, but now I try and say it. I'm like, I'm going to walk away because like I just need a moment. I'm not ignoring you. And like, we just need to take a beat, which is helpful.
Yeah. I know I keep like bringing it back to like my experiences, but like y'all are like reminding me of like me and my partner so much. My partner is the same way. She's the type where like she will get in her head about something, and then like a couple days later it'll be like something that didn't even happen, And I'm like,
It's like, why didn't you say something sooner?
yeah, I'm like, what is happening? Like I'm
Yeah.
so confused. You know what I mean? And so we're also like, I've told her, like, whenever you think that something is happening or whatever, just call it out.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Right.
a very blunt person, so upfront with people. Like if I feel a certain change of energy, I'm gonna call it out, not like in a mean way, but just like, hey, what's going on? Like I see this, but there are people, Kyle, like you and my partner, that like to internalize it because you don't want to cause something if there's nothing there. But of course, it's like the more you internalize it, the more problems that is going to cause. But yeah, so I get it. I understand. But I love that you guys are able to like be aware of how you guys argue in the way to like calm things down, because a lot of couples can't do that. You know what I mean?
We're not perfect at it by any means, but we try.
Totally. No, me and my partner too. I feel like we will never be perfect at it, like as long as we just keep trying. Okay, so Kyle, your family really stood out on the show. They were so cute. Oh, they're so cute. But they were so supportive, and they gave you like super thoughtful advice in like a super high pressure situation. How has that family dynamic shaped you, and how does their support show up in y'all's relationship today?
Yeah, I love my family so much. I love my parents, especially, and I'm grateful for them like every day. And I think it really has shaped me as a person. They're very like, I'm from the Midwest, so I'm just more gentle. You also didn't see I have two older sisters, and I think being the youngest did shape my personality in a way that maybe isn't the best. I love my sisters, especially now. They're like my best friends. But as the youngest, I always felt annoying. I always was like, I don't know, and I'm definitely
she's very concerned with coming off needy. And I'm like,
because
as
a kid I was like very anxious, very needy, very like intense as a person, and I've always been more of the black sheep in a way. Like I didn't have like the traditional life, I guess, and so I've always been the odd one out, but I've always had so much love for my family, and I think that has shaped me so much and just allowed me to be myself because I always felt supported. I never felt like I was, disappointing them or that they didn't agree with what I was doing. And I think my mom has just such a unique, like, perspective on life and such an interesting, she's always been interesting, I guess. That has been just so fun to live around. And so, I always take their words in and like really value their perspective and their opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And they love Bridget so much. So that has been really nice. Like have a partner where my family like loves being around her and she people come around. And so that's been really special because like I need my family to love who I'm with because I love my family.
Of course. And I feel like, Kyle, your family was like very, like obviously loving and like gentle, but they also were very
Yeah.
upfront with like how they felt about certain situations, or like, you know what I mean? Like calling you out on certain
Yeah.
things. And like I feel like that's how it should be. Like I think the way that they went about it, which of course I don't know exactly like how it all happened, because you know people edit, like the producers, they edit it however they want, but it looked like they just went about it a really good way with you
Yeah.
guys from what we saw,
Yeah,
you know.
they kind of shared my concerns, which was
Yeah.
like,
Mhm.
yeah, validating, I
Yeah.
guess, in a way. But yeah,
Yeah,
I also know that they support our relationship 100%, but it's like the whole marriage part of it. And I think, you know, they are coming from that more traditional idea of marriage. So unpacking that too. I think now they view
yeah.
it from the way that we see it. Like we were just with them and they were saying like how they regretted saying those things. And I'm like, no, I'm glad you said those things because I agree. But they were like, no, but it shouldn't matter. The financial stuff shouldn't matter.
You
Like,
don't need to own a house to
yeah,
get married. So I feel like it changed their perspective too.
yeah, that was
Oh,
cool to
that's
see.
good. That's cool that like for example, like me, like my parents had different views about certain things, but like having a queer child that has different views obviously than them, it's cool to see my parents kind of change the way that they see certain things because of me, and I'm like, I did that. Yeah, I'm like I did that. Okay, Bridget, you said that you're proud to share your relationship as a gender fluid couple in the media. Why is that representation important to you both, and what impact do you hope it has for people watching?
Yeah, I mean, I think there are just so many different types of queer people and queer relationships. And there's not a whole lot of representation, especially in the reality TV space. And most of the representation that we do see is very heteronormative, which is totally just as valid. And those couples are just as beautiful. But I think it's nice to get to see a little bit more variety and, like, you know, like a little bit more of the gender queer side of things as well, instead of just like, you know, butch femme or like mask femme or whatever.
Mhm. Mhm.
And, you know, people might disagree or say whatever. I just think like it's hard to explain, I guess, but just yeah, I don't know. I think like it's cool to see because I can tell it resonates with people. I get a
Yeah.
lot of messages about it. But of course,
Mhm.
there are also going to be people who don't really understand what I'm talking about when I'm talking about this stuff.
Totally. And for, I mean, I'm sure most of my listeners will understand what gender fluid means, but can you explain what that means?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways to view gender, like whether it's being non-binary or being just gender queer or gender non-conforming. Like I have never really put too much emphasis on my gender. I think like and pronouns for me are not I'm very privileged to be surrounded by people who really understand me, and I'm so lucky and proud to have friends like that and family like that, and to primarily be in environments where I don't need to explain my gender to anybody. But for some people, I know it is really important to use like specific pronouns and how validating that can feel for them. And so, just for me personally, I'm fine with she or they, or well, pretty much just those two. You know, I think it's more just like the way I view myself and my identity. Yeah, I've gone through phases where I've been like super boyish as a kid, like completely dressed like a boy. And now I kind of just like, even when I first came out, I feel like I went super mask for a second. And like, I've kind of figured out who I am and how I want to present myself. But yeah, I have days where I'm like wearing a binder and I've had my hair short, and I also enjoy like painting my nails and wearing makeup. So it's just kind of like not, I get to pick and choose, you know? It's not abiding
Totally.
by any rules, I guess.
I mean, it's always felt like just natural to me to be more gender fluid. I
Yeah.
think I obviously don't have a very like my body is fairly flat in a way, so I can play with it more. But I've always just kind of felt like Kyle, it's like hard to define more girl or boy. I take pieces from both, and I just feel that's when I feel most comfortable, and I kind of let that guide me, I guess, and how I express myself.
And it definitely is something that really drew me to Kyle, because I've dated people who look all different kinds of ways, but I just love people who can also pull from both things. Like, I don't necessarily want to date somebody who's, well, that's not true. For me, it's personality, but I do love that Kyle, like, loves jewelry and loves to paint her nails and, like, is super comfortable wearing a wig and dressing up like a girl for a costume party. Like,
I saw that Instagram you guys posted. How long ago was it? Like a week or 2 weeks ago?
the
Where
wigs.
I think,
Yeah.
yes. I was like, this is freaking hilarious. Y'all are funny. How do you guys handle assumptions or expectations people have about gender roles, marriage, what a relationship should look like in queer relationships? I know that's like a loaded question.
It's none of their business. I'm just like,
And that's it.
You're like, you do you, let me do
Yeah.
me. Don't make
whatever you want to do in your relationship is your business.
Exactly. Okay. That's it. That's a good answer. So what are some, if there were any, behind the scene moments that were like super emotionally difficult for you guys, or moments that like the audience didn't see?
I feel like that's exclusively what they show. They cut out all the lighter stuff.
Yeah, they cut in the difficult stuff. Cut out the lighter stuff.
So you don't think they really cut much out? Or
They cut a ton out. They show probably like 5% of the footage.
But of the tough stuff, I'm trying to think if there's anything like not. I mean, they show it in their own way.
I think in my trial marriage with Ashley, they cut a lot of stuff where she was talking about her relationship with Marita and the challenges they face. But I think for us, they pretty much exclusively, I mean, you hardly see us as a couple, but
yeah. And what was interesting is for us, you do see a conversation where we're talking about like what happened in my trial marriage briefly. But for us, they really made it sound like they were like, there were times when they would cut in because we were talking about it and like it was emotional. It was like we were working through it. And they kind of were like, don't talk about your first trial marriage. It was weird. They were like, focus on you guys. And we're like, this is kind of
they'd be like, guys, you should talk about the elephant in the room. And then we would talk about what we thought they thought was the elephant in the room. And afterwards they'd be like, please guys, this is your trial marriage. Stop talking about your old trial marriage. And I was like, I thought that was what you meant by the elephant in the room.
It just
like,
became
you're like, what is the elephant?
Yeah.
You're like, you have something in mind, tell me, because I don't know what I want.
And I think that's all part of the manipulation probably. But yeah, it's hard because you're trying to do what they're asking of you, mostly because, like you think you're gonna not be manipulated, not be susceptible to that, but then at the end of the day, you just want the filming to end. So you're like, sure, I'll do whatever you want. Like, just tell me what you're looking for.
That is so odd. Like, you're like, what is this elephant? Yeah. I thought we just talked about
it. That was the one time I like broke down after production left, and Kyle totally understood. I was just like, I didn't want to talk about that anymore anyway. I did it because I thought that's what they were asking for. Mm-hmm. Only to like have them reprimand me after that was hard.
Yeah, that's crazy. So obviously this whole process was like mentally, physically, spiritually, every type of thing, like draining. So how did you guys like take care of yourselves during it? Definitely, but also after.
I think during it, I feel like we're always.
I journaled every morning. Mostly because I wanted to like remember the experience as it felt emotionally. I mean, I'm a writer, so I was just kind of like, this will be good to have in the archives. Yeah. And also I needed to digest and process how I was feeling. I also, I'll let you.
Yeah. I think during it for me, I mean, I'm a runner, so it's really important that like I had my time to run. So I would always run on the treadmill because it was just hot in Miami and I didn't know where I was. And I would watch like TV, and that was a way to just kind of escape for a second.
Yeah.
So that helped me. And then by the end I was like reading books, self-help books, and that was like kind of starting this journey of like figuring out what the hell is going on with me.
Yeah.
And after we got some therapy, which was good.
They were supposed to give us more therapy after the show aired, but they never did.
Yeah.
See, who was it that I talked to? Someone said the same thing. They were like, they promised us therapy and we like didn't really even get it. And I was like,
yeah.
Like they
said you get 8 sessions now and you get 8 sessions after it airs. We got the initial 8, sessions. Never got the second.
You're like, where are my sessions?
Mhm.
That's crazy. Wow. Okay, so if you guys could go back and refilm one scene or moment with like full control, what would it be?
No.
Or this might be a better one. If there was a scene that you wish would have been aired, what would that be that wasn't aired?
Yeah, I feel like we had a lot of really, I thought, good scenes. There was one date where like they had Kyle run and then we had a conversation after, and I felt like that was a really good conversation where we talked a lot about our relationship and what we valued about it. And then also there was a date where we got our auras read. I would have loved if they showed that. It was really fun.
Yeah, that's
I just feel like you guys weren't problematic.
Yeah,
So
we weren't the drama, that's for sure. It
Yeah.
was probably boring for people to watch.
yeah, and like the only time that they would show you guys is if there was like problems. You know what I mean? Because it's for views.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you guys are being sweet, talking about y'all's future, talking about y'all's, of course they're gonna be like, why would I put this on the show? You know what I mean? So I guess it's like it's good. It's like a good thing,
Yeah,
because
I
y'all
didn't
just weren't
mind.
problematic.
Yeah. I didn't really.
But I get it.
Heavily featured. So I was fine with it. Yeah, we did glass
I get
blowing.
it.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we did a lot of fun stuff.
Oh yeah, what the heck? They didn't show like any of it.
No, for like anyone. It's like you wasted so much.
I was just about to say.
Yeah.
It was only the problematic stuff,
Yeah.
literally. It just seemed so messy. The whole
Yeah,
season
I
just
know.
seemed super messy.
And that was part of it, but there's so much
There was
else.
so much more that happened, and like, so much growth that happened with different couples.
Yeah. Totally. Okay, so I have like a couple questions and then I'm gonna let you guys go, I promise. So what do you guys imagine your life to look like in 5 years? Whether that's like y'all's relationship goals, personal goals, or like just shared goals with one another.
I'm hoping we'll be further along in our careers
Definitely.
and like more stable with that and more fulfilled in that area.
Yeah, less
freelance.
less freelance, more stable, rather than like always
Gotcha.
trying to find the next thing. Like
Right.
have a good flow with that. Definitely want a dog of some sort.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cute.
More.
And it.
Yeah.
I'm happy
So
with
are
the
you
rest.
guys so in 5 years you don't think marriage is I'm like, hello,
Yeah, I'm
marriage?
No, I
That
think
thing,
we'll be
you're right.
married.
I love that. Okay, so marriage, a dog, and then more like freedom, more like financial or what did you guys say? I mean, I know
Yeah.
you guys said like
More
not
stability within our careers.
Yes. And Kyle, you said you had or Bridget, you said Kyle had a t-shirt
Yeah.
company. What is that called?
It's called Tiny Tooth Toad.
.net.
Tiny Tooth Toad?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a tongue twister.
tongue
I like
twister.
it. Okay, and what do you like? What kind of shirts
Most of them
are
are like gay themed or
Love it.
something like that. Fun.
They're funny. And
Yeah, like a little funny.
creative.
I'm a graphic designer.
If someone hearing this interview is thinking of going on a show like The Ultimatum, what would your advice be?
I would
Don't do it.
maybe don't do it. No, I would be like, I would tell them to really do a lot of self reflection before going in. Really like prepare yourself for a very emotionally challenging situation. You really have to go in prepared. And it's hard to prepare though, because you really don't know how you're gonna act in that environment. So that's what's tough about like giving anyone advice. I guess just like
Think about what you want out of it and
What
make
you
sure
want.
that stays crystal clear in your head.
and make sure you're okay
Totally.
with, because they can do whatever they want to like you in the edit. So make sure you're okay with like the worst case scenario and that you can handle that.
Yeah, that's the scary thing about reality TV is literally you can be like the sweetest little human ever and they can, I don't know if this happened on the show, but they can make someone look terrible.
They can. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they can literally put the edits wherever they want. That's just like in general with reality TV shows. Like I'm just like I would be so scared to go on because I could be going in with such good intentions and I could say something and then it could be taken out of context, or you know what I mean? Like, it is
Exactly.
scary.
Yeah.
But I honestly feel like you can't prepare for something like this.
No, you really can't.
Because you can go in thinking like, okay, I've done my, you know, my work within myself. I feel confident. But then it's like you don't know. You just don't know because it's such a crazy thing.
Like Kyle didn't like her edit. And I feel like even just people who've like seen her on social media or heard a podcast, they're like, oh, you're like so different than I thought you were based on the show. Because like
So why didn't you like your edit, Kyle? Like, how do you think they portrayed you? Like, what do you mean?
I feel like it's not like the person I saw was like, I don't recognize that person, but I feel like the parts that they showed, it was when I was like uncomfortable and acting kind of weird because I was in those moments, and they didn't really show like all the other stuff. Like with my trial marriage with Pilar, I feel like a lot of when they showed was literally like the first few days when I was uncomfortable. And also they showed like moments where we were having tough conversations that were difficult for me because I wasn't used to having them. And so they just didn't really show any of like the lighter parts of me or the more fun part of me, which was probably the majority of our time. So, but you know, it is what it is. I don't have to watch it back. So I'm just gonna let that live there.
You're like, I am not watching this anymore.
You have fun with that.
So are there any upcoming projects or personal things that are fun that you guys would like to share with the listeners?
Yeah. Well, for me, I mean, my shirts, you can find them through my Instagram, inkypinky231 or tinytoothtoad.net. I think that's mostly for me.
I have a podcast coming out soon, so I'm very excited about that. It's with my friend, my very close friend, Frankie. We were Red Bull girls together, and we've just, she's Australian, and we've maintained a really close friendship, but it's going to be kind of like a comedy advice, everything podcast.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to be like having people on, or is it just y'all two?
Yeah. So we're starting with a format where we're having people record themselves asking a question or asking for advice or sharing a crazy or fun story. Kind of just whatever they want to get us to talk about. So like I'll probably have other people from the cast on. Kyle was our first question asker. But yeah, I'm hoping to have more people ask questions.
Wait, and when is this gonna come out?
Probably in a month because we want to bank a few episodes. But yeah,
totally.
So probably sometime in October because I don't know when this will air. But yeah, stay tuned. And we're still working on the name, but I think we might call it All of My Friend. Just like a joke we used to make with each other because we were each other's only friend when we lived in the same place.
I respect it. Yeah. I like that. You kept your circle small.
Yeah, very small. But yeah, I'm hoping that'll be just like a fun. I've always wanted to have a podcast, so excited.
Yeah. And podcasting is a lot of fun. Yeah. It is so much fun. It's a lot of work. I mean, you probably know this, the editing and everything, but it's amazing. It's so much fun though. Is it going to be like, is your friend Frankie, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Does she live in LA or is it going to be like virtual?
No, it's all virtual. She lives in Australia still. Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
Cool. Well, I recommend, I don't know what you guys are doing, but Riverside is amazing.
Yeah, we've just been using Zoom, so I'll look into Riverside.
Yeah, Riverside is super good. You can edit on here.
I love that.
That's literally how I do it. And they do, it's called Magic Clips, where they like create clips for you, which sometimes they're kind of like random and I'm like, this doesn't like what in the world. And so I have to go in and like fix it a little bit, but I totally recommend Riverside.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. And I think it's only like $15 a month. It's not bad. For like the basic one. And then you can keep paying however much you want to do. Okay, Kyle, real quick. How did you come up with that name? The Tiny
Tooth Toad.
Tiny. Yeah. Yeah. How'd you come up with that?
Well, I love toads. I love teeth and I love tiny things. I just combine it all together.
Okay, wait. You like teeth?
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Like you like?
Yeah, this is one of my lookbooks. I made these teeth. I just love teeth.
Like, can you tell us a little bit more? Like, liking teeth is really like that's very.
Well, I always loved the way people's teeth look. I had a lot of like dental issues in my like early things. I have very soft enamel, and so I just was at the dentist all the time and like going through the process. And I find the world of dentistry just so kind of weird, and I was just fascinated by it.
Because there's so many dental offices around here.
In LA, yeah. So I did a whole project in grad school about dentistry and teeth, and so it's just
That is so interesting.
You will find that people who've had a lot of dental issues tend to have an obsession with teeth.
yeah, they're everywhere.
They either have an obsession or they're like terrified. You know, it's either or. That's funny. Do you like shark teeth or is it only human teeth?
Mostly human. Yeah.
Okay, this is interesting. This is like a whole other episode. I want you to
Yeah,
come
I'll
on and
come
we can
back
talk
and talk
about.
Anytime.
Yeah, like I feel like for one of our holidays or birthday or whatever, I was able to secure a real human tooth. That was my gift. Some random person's tooth.
Where did you get this tooth
My
from?
cousin made friends with this dentist, and the dentist had these extra teeth, and
Yeah.
so that's how I got it.
You know what? Everyone has their own little thing, and I respect it. I respect it. Okay, well, amazing. Well, that is the end of the episode. I love how we ended it on human
Yeah.
teeth. That is very interesting. But Kyle and Bridget, thank you guys so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Again, I know you guys had to wake up early, so just thank you so much for coming
Thank you
on.
for having us.
Of course, and if you guys want to let people know where to find you guys on socials, definitely do that.
Yeah. I'm on Instagram and TikTok at InkyBinky231.
And I'm on Instagram and TikTok and Cameo. Just Bridget Matloff, I think, on everything.
Amazing. Okay, well, for my listeners, I post every Wednesday. I have some cool people coming on, so definitely stay tuned for that, and I will talk to you guys later. All right, bye.
Bye.